Hi, and welcome to the fourth assignment of Master Light, the lighting assignment group on Facebook. First, I want to do a bit of housekeeping. Great news, we reached 1,000 members, so it's really awesome. We have a whole lot of new people, so it's really great. I can't wait to see more and make this group explode. So thanks again for all the many submissions for assignment number 3. We had a lot of submissions giving in, and we really appreciate the volume of work. And just wanted to remind you that this assignment is open forever. There's no stoppage. You can post as many photos as you like. Just make sure you post information about your lighting placement and also your EXIF data. If you have any questions about technique, gear, or anything of the sort, you may post it in the group below. We're here to help. So if you have any questions, please make sure you fire them. Also about the assignment. And also just remember that Sunday is a fun day, so whatever you want to post, some pictures that you took recently or some new work, completely allowed to post them on Sunday. So Sunday is a day to post your recent work that is out of the assignment. The next assignment that we're proposing today is actually quite difficult. It's really hard. Even seasoned pros have a bit of difficulty to deal with it, but again, I want to submit it to you today so you can actually give it a shot and give it a try. It's a really interesting way to shape your light and also to give dimensions to your photos. The fourth assignment is hard light. So what is hard light? Hard light is a light that comes from either a very small source of light or a modifier. Let's say you use this. If you use this, it's a small source of light because the light is only spreading through this cone, and also the sun is a source of hard light. So if you go at noon, you start shooting and then you look at what you're getting, the sun is really not forgiving. So this is hard light in our opinion, or also a bare flash. Hard light is also known as a sculptured light, which means it helps sculpture texture or shapes of people. So let's say you have a man that you want to shoot, and he has a lot of, let's say he has a beard like me, you want to accentuate it. A hard light is actually a great way to approach it, since it will add details and texture to his beard or to the information. It doesn't really suit women that well because sometimes, most of the times, they prefer very soft and even light so they have perfect skin, but men have a very granular and a very hard skin, so it's interesting to use hard light in those situations. Also, if you shoot anything with angles, it's interesting to you have a model with great shape. You can actually use hard light in order to accentuate the way she's made. Hard light is also interesting to cast shadows. It's probably the easiest way to use it is to have your source of light, your subject, and a wall, and then you can cast a big shadow, and then it's going to create a great effect on your photo, so you can add a lot of drama or a lot of perspective to the photo. Here's a few examples of what I did recently. Hard light is also useful for action. Dealing with big modifiers is not that great for hard light. There's a lot of wasted light because you're diffusing your light with multiple layers. Hard light will create those spec lights. Let's say you shoot some fitness and you want those highlights to be very blown out. Hard light will create this. I'm going to show you an example of what I did last year. It's going to show you a great example of what hard light can do on a body. So a few tips for this assignment: find a wall and create a shadow. So find a wall that you really like or has texture, or even a white wall, it doesn't really matter. But if you want to make it more interesting, give it a bit of texture, then anything with rock or anything with granite or granular. Place your light, place your camera, place your model, and then leave some negative space behind, and make sure you shoot a really hard light, and then you're going to create some large shadows, and it's going to add more drama and more action to it. A bare flashing will actually give you a lot of leeway here. So if you don't want to use any modifier, or you don't own one, this is the assignment for you. Just don't use anything. You have a speed light, use it there. So no modifiers, no snoot, no nothing. Just really use your flash as is, or use a reflector like this. You can use a reflector as is. It's going to create a very narrow source of light, like we discussed before. If you want to have absolute control over your light, you can buy a snoot. A snoot is a really cheap accessory. What it does, it creates a spill of light. So instead of having a light that spreads, you have a source of light that is very narrow, so it's going to create even more interesting photos. You can give it a shot. It's really interesting to have. It's a great tool to have also. Let's say you want to light the background or do something like this. If you have a model that has great shapes or have great lines or has like a very angular body, make sure you use a hard light. Sometimes it can create interesting effects depending on the assignment, depending on the job that you have. It's going to create some interesting shapes and ways that you can use it. Again, I'm going to show you something that I use with 2 reflectors, one with snoot, one without, and then you can see that it creates really dramatic shadows on the way she's posing. And if you don't have a model or don't have anyone to practice with, do a self-portrait. Like assignment number 3, this is again open to do anything you want. You can find a model, just go find a model and then shoot with her with hard light. It's going to be interesting. If you don't have a model or you don't have access to one, or you're alone or you don't have time, just you take yourself with it. So use our hard source of light and then try new things. Again, post them if you have any questions or if you have any difficulties, let us know in the comments and then we'll help you as best as we can. As always, this assignment is open until September 30th. So from today until September 30th, please post your images that you took for assignment number 4, hard light. I want to remind you that assignment number 3 is still open, and if you want to use a hard light on your assignment number 3 and mix both of them, that's the best approach to it. You can practice anything you want, just make sure it's within Facebook's policy and guidelines. So if you have any questions about this assignment or anything else, just make sure you either comment below or join the Facebook group, and then I'll be posting a link below again. Make sure you join in, make sure you post your comments or question about the assignment. If you have any questions, again, don't hesitate. And then good luck and happy shooting.